kills pets. Do you like pets? Of course I do. There are about 5,045 pet stores in Japan, and 26.6% of the population currently owns pets. There are also many TV programs featuring dogs and cats, and it has become commonplace to own a pet. Of course, there are many animals kept as pets that are cared for by their owners and live happily ever after. But we must not turn our eyes away from their shadows. Behind the scenes, there are animals that suffer cruel fates. Yes, the number of pets being killed is also increasing. I'm here today to talk about the killing of pets. Frequently, a lot of animals are locked up in a small room all at once. They will experience the agony and horror of suffocation. Can you imagine what this would look like? Currently, the number of killings is gradually decreasing due to the activity of animal welfare groups. However, the total number of dogs and cats killed in a year is estimated to be about 38,000. This means that 105 dogs and cats are killed per day. If these were people, it would be too big a crime and would never be tolerated. However, when animals without human rights are killed, society does not see it as a major problem. So why are these things happening? The number one reason is that pet owners don't think things through or are irresponsible. This is a really big problem, and there is still a certain number of them today. The solution to this is to first think about whether you really need a pet in your life. Here, if it is cute and you just want to buy it, don't. Only buy it if you really love it and need it in your life. Will you be able to take care of your pet until the end, even if it grows up and gets bigger? If the owner's life changes, or if the pet gets sick? Keeping a living creature means taking responsibility for its entire life. We should realize the irrepressibility of life. Another point is that there are too many pet stores. Pets are bred to be sold, and the more popular a breed is, the more stock pet stores want to have. They always keep stock on hand to reduce the possibility that if we had more stock, we might have sold more. So they end up with an oversupply. In other words, the store is responsible for the problem. How can we do this? How about referring to the UK, for example? In the UK, there is a strict rule that pet stores without a license are prohibited by law from selling pets in their stores. Japan has very lax rules for pet stores among developed countries, so it is necessary to review them. If a license were required to own a pet, the number of responsible pet owners would probably decrease considerably. What I want to mention here is not that we should not keep pets from stores, but from animals that have a very great fear of being killed. In other words, when you get a pet, try to acquire an animal that has been abandoned, not from a pet store. This way, the lives of animals that would otherwise be ended or saved, people are happy to change pets, creating a very positive cycle. Not many people are doing it this way. So let's all put it in practice. The number of killings will surely decrease. This is my opinion. Finally, let us create a society that truly values life and makes life easier for both people and animals. Thank you.
Diversity. This is widely discussed today, When there is diversity, there is also the existence of biases. Here are some examples. Women are weak, despite many being strong. Another is that black people are dishonest, when most are not. Some biases may be just small problems. However, even such small biases grow up when they spread among many people. And today, some biases get powerful enough to end human lives. As you know, there are conflicts between different ideologies in the world. North Korea and South Korea are good examples. Despite them adjoining each other, they never cooperate, and many precious lives were lost. This does not only happen there. Many areas have such problems. So I'm going to discuss a few topics from the perspective of biases. So let's imagine how it goes when you persuade a person who has a bias that women are weak. You will say, women are not weak, you have a bias. And then he or she says, oh yeah, that's right, women are not weak, I had a bias. Do you think it will really happen? I don't think so. Once someone has a bias, it is very difficult to discard it. So we can remove the existing biases. Let's change the way to solve the problem. Please think. Do we think of our bias as bias? I think we normally don't recognize our bias as bias. To fight enemies, we have to know about our enemies' biases. Do you know the phrase unconscious bias? The content is like this. In our lives, biases are arising without being noticed, like brushing teeth or changing clothes. This is very similar to preconception. According to studies about that, everyone has unconscious bias. For example, even if you think you don't judge people by their appearance, sometimes you're actually judging them by their appearance. Maybe you have experienced this. When you saw your friend for the first time, you thought, I think I can't get along with him. However, once you talk to him, you and he are extremely compatible. Unconscious bias often appears when you judge people, like the example I said. Unconscious bias also appears when you see something other than people, like flowers and insects. When you see flowers, you imagine positive things, like kindness or innocence. But when you see insects, you imagine negative things, like poison or ugliness. The same thing happens in the situation with people from different ethnicities. As I said, it is very difficult to discard the existing biases. However, there are examples that major biases were discarded by people who tried to shed their bias. In 1994, there was a survey in America about gays and lesbians, and almost 50% answered gays and lesbians should not be accepted by the society. However, in 2019, the number decreased to 20%. This is because people noticed and tried to overcome their bias collectively. So, we can overcome our bias. Suddenly, our enemy is enormous, but it is not impossible to defeat it. Many precious lives have been lost because of biases, but it should never happen again. We won't let it happen again. Now, we know about our enemies' biases. Now, there is no fear of them. Now we can join hands again. Thank you.
Beep, beep, beep. My alarm was ringing, and I woke up. But I was feeling a little sleepy. I thought that even if I sleep 5 minutes, I won't be late for school. As a result, 20 minutes later, my father came into my room and said, "You're late." This day, I was late for school. I have made such mistakes a lot of times, so I cannot control myself well. It makes my schedule go crazy. I'm suffering from this problem. But haven't you experienced like me? I hear my friends play the games for a long time, bought a lot of things they don't need, and so on. So many people, including me, are suffering from this uncontrollable problem. Then, why do we do such things? It seems to be silly and pointless, but we do. We have done them many times. Hey, why? I think it is because we lack willpower. Willpower is the power to control ourselves, and according to a study, it is the most important for being a successful person. Because if we have it, we can earn things perfectly. So, if you want to be a successful person, get willpower. Giving an example, do you know Mr. Congenital? He is known as Znoo and has a lot of licenses such as doctor, lawyer, and so on. You can see he is very intelligent. Then, what made him so? It's his willpower. He loves to study, and on that evidence, he said on his YouTube that, I really want to know everything in the world. Then, don't you want to know the structure that what happens in our heads? I'll tell you about it. Imagine the inside of our heads. Actually, there are two boys named Daniel, who is honest, and Noah, who is irresponsible. They are always participating to decide a direction, and for us, who lack willpower, Noah always wins. So this is the reason why we cannot control ourselves well. Then, how can we make it possible to control ourselves? It's easy. We just need to strengthen our Daniel. It means we just strengthen our willpower. Do you want to know the way? Actually, there's an excellent way. According to a study, it's to make a habit. Because if you do this, you can do what you want to do completely. However, it's very, very difficult. In my case, when I started to run karate, I made it a rule to do sit-ups, but it's so hard and troublesome that I quit it after a week. But there's a wonderful application that's changed me. It's Min Challenge. This is for making a habit by uniting a team and sharing your own achievement. And the rate of achievement is very high. It's over 90%. So a number of people succeeded through this application, and I am one of them. I tried to do the sit-ups again, and at last, I got a six-pack. Now, you already know the way to success, and there's no reason to delay it. So everyone, let's get perfect willpower and become winners of our life. Thank you.